every single clone drone enemy, from the weakest to the strongest, until there are 45 enemies now in the clone drone since Chapter 5 dropped, which is quite a lot, I will admit. So, I've just given myself every upgrade to make this simple. First up, Spear Boys. Spear Mark 1 to be precise. These guys are the easiest enemy in the game, period. They can't turn worth crud. They are terrible at aiming their hits, and they're really weak in general. Oh yeah, they also do like no damage, and they like to hit each other. If you really want to make them easy, just pull out a bow and start shooting. This and that, and you're all dead. Simple.
Nice work, man. Make sure to thank a paid bot.
Gracias, Spidertron. Okay, next easiest enemy, the boat 1, since they literally cannot even move. However, every once in a blue moon, one of these guys will shoot you in the back of the head and kill you immediately, so that's the only reason I've placed them any higher than the Spear 1. However, just keep your distance and, projectile deflect sword really makes quick work of these guys. Watch. Deflection, dead. Yeah, use a sword when you're attacking bow, guys. Our deflection is really effective.
Nice. I like this contestant. Let's hope it does not die horribly in the next battle.
Okay. In 43rd place, we have the Sword 1. Pretty much, probably the first enemy you'll ever fight in the game, and definitely the most basic. Again, max bow will make quick work with these guys, but really anything will. Just make sure you have enough sense to not jump into a laser sword, and you're pretty much good. Okay, even the sword will work against these guys, using your own weapon against them. Well, now we're going to 42nd place, which is the Sword 2. These guys are really just the Sword 1, but if you can hit me, they can knock the sword to the side, see? So you gotta be a little bit careful. But, yeah, not get cocky like that. Otherwise, you're pretty much good. Again, a bow will make quick work of these guys. So, yeah. In a nutshell, grab a fire bow and start just spamming it all over their faces. Oh yeah, they also have the annoying tendency to jump over arrows. Get away. I think I've gotten there. Okay, in 41st, we now have the Business Sword bot, which is literally got the exact same AI as the Sword 2, but it's a little smaller and hence a little harder to hit, and hence just a tad more annoying and difficult. Either way, kill them really easy. Bonk. 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 Double kill. You just, again, don't get cocky when fighting these guys. Otherwise, you'll end up with a sword in your body. Water-based drink. Water-based drink. Okay, now rounding out the 40s, we have Mindspace Spear bots. Mindspace bots are really easy to kill. A single hit in the chest is a KO guaranteed. Armor might get in the way a little in the harder difficulties in story mode, but you can take them out with like you would any other piece of armor. Nope. Something I've noticed about the Mindspace bots, their armor covers their chest and head, whereas regular armor doesn't, so... I wonder if they're favored. Also a bow. Yeah, just do that.
Perhaps this human was a professional video gamer.
Well, I am. Anyways, now we're entering the 30s, so these guys are no longer just goofable. There should be armor bots here, but the game doesn't like me placing them, so let's put a couple of these guys. But yeah, armor bots can't actually attack you and hence not very dangerous, but they can make other bots more annoying, like if an armor they originally lost, or just never had to begin with. In 38th spot, we have these guys, O2s. They come in stationary variants, like the ones on the pillars, and movable ones, which are slow as hell, like these guys. Bonk. Oh yeah, deflect. Use a sword with deflect on these guys. Just do this. I can literally just stand here and remove the remaining two. I wouldn't even get killed. Please die. Next.
Nice. I like this contestant. Let's hope it does not die horribly in the next battle.
Okay. For the next level, 37th spot, we've got these guys, hammer ones. While the hammer does do quite a lot of damage if it hits you, as a slow swing speed, about as much range as a regular sword, and well, like all the previous guys, a bow will make quick work of them. Plus, they're pretty terrible at dodging arrows, so yeah. Yeet. Ooh. You're a finicky one, aren't you? There we go. Okay, 36th spot. We have jetpack spears, Mark 1. Basically, the very weak spot in the game, but they are in the jetpack, so it's faster and has more chances to stab you. Also means that they can get closer before you use your bow, so it's kind of annoying, but at the same time, not really. And just blink. Yeah, that happens. Yoink. Dilly darn die, dilly darn gone. Hang on. Go away. Remove the skull and he's good.
I was pretty sure it was going to die.
Now for 35th spot, which is Spear Mark 2s. These guys have a shield which can tank a fire arrow. But when they attack, the shield moves to the side. So you can do. So if you bait them into attacking, then you can get a clear shot. And they stabby and I shoot. Stab, shoot. Or you can literally just go ham and get rid of all the shields and the users behind them. A hammer does wonders against shields, just smashes it apart. Okay, and bonk, 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 bonk. They're actually bigger than the spear one, so hence an easier target. But that, the spear does have a bit more range, being a little bigger. At least I think it is. So you gotta be a little careful with it. Also, that their shield of theirs is quite tanky without some sort of fire weapon, so you gotta be careful with that. Just let me hit you. That too. Even a teensy tiny bit of shield can save them from what should have been a lethal hit. Okay, it's dead. So yeah. 34th, I think. Okay, plots. Yeah. These guys aren't lethal on their own, but with other bots they can be because they simply knock you down. So, like this. So other bots can stab you on the ground. Get up decreases the time it takes before you get up. And they have a dash so they can catch up to you if you're just walking, so you kind of want to be careful with that. Just use a bow since there's literally nothing they can do about it. Except try to get you. But that doesn't kill you. So, haha, screw you. You die. You die.
You did not tell me you had a nose installed.
33rd next. And it's jetpack Mark 1s. Oh well. Chop. These are basically sword tubes, but they're given a jetpack, so... Again, literally every enemy up to this point, a firebow makes quick work. However, trying to engage in sword combat with these guys is quite tricky because they're very erratic, as I'll attend to right now. If you do want to engage in sword combat with them, use your own jetpack to keep up with them. Or just smack their heads off.
Very much like a robot. But not like a robot. No, not enough.
Okay. 32nd, I believe. We have jetpack archers. Now, these guys can be. So you know how I stated that bow ones are annoying because every once in a blue moon they manage to get a bow and you manage to get an arrow in your backside. These guys are the same, but since they move around so much, it's more likely that happens. So you gotta be careful. And with deflection. Oh yeah, since they move around so much, deflecting their own arrows into them doesn't work very well. But yeah, just walk up to them with a sword and stab them. It works very well. Or that. Is that 32nd? Now, 31st. Spidertron 5000. I don't know what to say about these guys really. They're kind of just there and they're just kind of just annoying. They were sort of mini boss from chapter 1, and they chuck grenades, which explode. That's literally it. Grenades can knock you down, and the shrapnel can inflict damage, but it's quite rare that it does any level of critical and or lethal damage. But it does happen, so don't underestimate these guys. Cutting off the legs doesn't do anything. See? You have to attack the red dot. Destroy it, and he immediately dies. The thing is, they're usually backed up by other weaker bots, or stronger, doesn't matter. But they're backed up, you have to get rid of those as well. Like this guy. So sad. Next.
Nice work, human. Make sure to thank the
So yeah, Spidertron rounds up the top 31st. Next bot will round up the top 30s. And it's the Mindspace hammer bots. If the hammer hits you, it's going to be a rough time for you. But like the Mindspace spear, the chest is a guaranteed kill if you hit it. Unless you have armor. Ooh, that was close. So yeah, Mindspace bots are nowhere near as resilient as their physical counterparts. So you gotta be careful. Not really. They have to be careful of you, but they do have a dash, so you gotta keep an eye out for that. And okay, if you can try getting them to hit each other, but it's a risky business, so I'm not gonna attempt it. Coming. Ooh. However, if you can get them to hit each other, it's very likely to be a kill. One shot, one kill to the chest. Simple. You don't really want to go into melee combat with these guys, because if they hit you, it's going to be very, very nasty. But you can try, just be very careful if that happens. Moving both legs is, of course, an instant kill for anything, so that's another tactic you can attempt. Although I guess not really for the Fleet Captain, Overseer, or Emperor, so that's that. Okay, entering the 20s. From 29th, we have Hammer Mark II. Basically the Mindspace hammer, but you remove the dash and replace it with being physical and hence much more resilient. However, a bow does work anyways, so don't care. Burn. You can use a larger hammer on them, but you do still have to be careful because their hammer is almost as large as the max size. However, the hammer is just kind of grossly overpowered, so bonk, and I have just sent his head halfway across the arena.
Perhaps this human had coffee before they were unloaded.
Okay, entering 28th spot, and we have business hammers. Like the business sword to the sword 2, these guys are basically just a little bit of a smaller frame and hence a little bit harder to hit. Otherwise, exactly the same as the hammer 2. Again, you can literally just bonk these guys out of existence if you need to. Until 7. Anyways, 27th if I'm not mistaken. We have Mark III combat archers. Now, with the bow out, you can shoot them like any other guy. Very close to my line. But get close, they'll pull out a bow, a sword, which can deflect arrows. So if the sword's out, don't try to shoot them. You can try to kick them down and then shoot them, or kick them down and stab them, or just smash them. But since I'm missing an armor, I can't do that. I'll repair myself after this level. First enemy to actually do some proper damage to me. Just a quick repair or burning. And move on to 26th spot. Now, 26th spot is the Mindspace analysis bot. These guys have a flamethrower attack, fire arrows, and a drill attack. So, yeah. However, not that bad. I mean, they are small, yes, but they're terribly inaccurate, as you can see. And a deflect sword will go a long way against them. Plus, since they're small, any moderate hit will probably be lethal, especially with fire. And they only have 2 pieces of armor, instead of 4 for most spots, or I think like 8 or 9 for the Mindspace. So, that's something. Just strip your head off. See? Moderate hit, and it's lethal. Oh yeah, you can also just deflect your own projectiles into them if this happens.
Perhaps this human was a professional video gamer.
To be honest, I want to include the garbage bots, but they're not enemies in this game, so I can't. 25th spot, I believe. 24. I'll go 25th, we have the sword 3. These guys can deflect projectiles, watch. So don't use a bow on them. Instead, a hammer works fine, since their sword has vastly less range. A spear would also work and provide you more protection with the shield, but I prefer the hammer. But to be honest, to each their own. Ow, because that doesn't happen when you have a shield. But you can't just bonk them out of existence. Bonk. Bonk. Come here. And bonk. The bonk stick is superior. Anyways, 24th now. You have kick bot Mark II. These guys are like the other kick bots. They're not lethal, but extraordinarily annoying. In fact, these are much more annoying than the last ones. They're mega jumps, so they literally just land behind you, kick you halfway across the map, and look how far their kick is. See? Really darn far. They can kick you directly into a hazard as well, like if there's solid or lava, they can kick you into those. But a bow works really well, especially if you have slowdown. As I will demonstrate now. Bow, slow down. Ow. Okay, never mind, he just kicked me over. Slow down. Shoot. Don't try to melee these guys, they'll just kick you into oblivion. Boom. These guys will probably take the longest of anything so far to defeat because they're just so annoying. There we go, surgically remove his skull. They're also very fast because they're super jump, so trying to outrun them is very difficult. It's not impossible. But if you have a Mark II jetpack, you might be able to outrun them for some time. But it's not recommended since they'll just catch up pretty soon. Oh yeah, they have power kicks, so they can kick one enemy into you, which is really, and that will still knock you over, which is kind of annoying. However, they are not lethal on their own, so that's the only reason they placed this low. If they could be lethal, I would have placed them significantly higher, like if they had a sword. There we go. Moving on to 22nd, I think. '23rd, sorry. Mark III spear bots. I like the Mark IIs, but a little bigger, and they have a shield bash, which you have to be careful of. Watch. See, they smack you over, then they get a stab. Now they can only do it every so often, so if they do it once, you can be a little safe knowing they won't do it for a few seconds, but don't rely on that. Instead, just go to town with a hammer. A max hammer can break shield like nothing else can. However, against a swarm, it's a little tricky. So you just need to pick them off one by one in that case. One smash at a time. Bonk. Bonk. Tiny bits of shield can be very annoying, so fire helps to prevent that sometimes. Oh yeah, once you remove the shield, their shield blast is replaced with a kick, so yeah, it's a little bit tricky. Also, remove your legs and your everything else.
Your superior outragement is human survive.
21st spot, I believe. No, 22nd spot. Jetpack hammer. Basically a Mark II hammer with fire and a jetpack. Just go to town with more arrows on them. Anything that can't deflect projectiles, keep away and just spam arrows. Works surprisingly well. These guys have the least energy out of any jetpack bots, so they can't jetpack too often, but it is often enough to cause someone to worry. Don't worry, unless these guys hit you, there's not a whole lot they can do. Really that applies to any bot. Unless they hit you, there's nothing that they can do. Especially with these guys, since, well, they're a melee lately. So screw you. Screw you. Oh, nope. Die. They do have fire resistance, so fire isn't as effective. But that doesn't mean it's completely ineffective. In fact, fire to arrows or fire to swords do pretty good against them. See, that fire would have killed a Mark II hammer, but his fire resistance prevented it. Ooh. Go for legs, and he's dead. That's what happens if you hit. Just remove. But just don't get hit. Like that.
Victory. I love that smell of energy source in the morning. Comment, Patrick. You did not tell me you had a nose installed.
21st spot. Infantry bots. Now, in my previous one, I ranked these guys much higher. However, they were nerfed a little bit later, a little bit after my video came out. They can only have one summoned by a time, and the laser raptor is removed from the spawn pool. So they can't summon it anymore. Like the other analysis bots, they can only have 2 pieces of armor, which makes it slightly easier to get through it, as compared to other bots. However, constantly having reinforcements makes them a little bit more difficult to deal with than, say, the analysis 2, the Mindspace bots.
Wow. Perhaps this Cuban has gone into
Alright,
overloaded.
now 19th spot, I believe. So, Spidertron 6000 is the mark, is the number 19. Now, this guy fires many grenades, as you can see, 5 at once, I think. However, a bow works pretty well. Destroy both his eyes and he dies immediately. See? Already dead. Just shot him dead. Pew 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 pew. He is often backed up though. In fact, I can't think of a single level where he is by himself. So yeah. Also, his grenades can knock you into lava or saw blades, so you do have to be wary of that. Search to remove everything. Sorry for any background noise. This room has no door. I don't know why. Skip the chippy chop, and he's dead. Moving on to 18th spot, I believe.
Very much like a robot.
Alright, 18th spot. 18th spot is... Why am I getting up there every day? Ha 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 ha. Hang on, I'm gonna quickly... No, because I'm speaking for this one, otherwise I would just cut the audio out. Anyways, 18th spot? Yeah, 18th spot. Flame Raptors. As you just saw, hit this, if you can hit, I believe, their throat, it's a pretty quick kill. However, they have both Flame Red and a Tailspin, and can have a Rider, as you can see, so, yeah. However, you can remove the Rider. And apparently both Raptors in a single arrow. Let me just remove these guys. Ow. Okay, Uncouth. Die. Blink. Oh my god, what happened to you? Ah, dang it, see? Sword equals deflect for above 3, so don't try to shoot them when they have it out.
I was pretty
Okay.
sure he was going to die.
So now I am, believe, 16th.
Maybe later it will die.
Mindspace Sword. These guys have jetpack and a lot of energy. However, they can't use a bow, which is good. Oh yeah, they also have kick, I mentioned that. Ugh. And a dash. They literally have every movement option available. They're really, really fast. And, like the other Mindspace bots, they can have more armor pieces than the others. However, I decided not to give them armor in this case because that just makes them ridiculously strong. Like, who thought this was 300 points worth of difficulty? It's like 700 or 800. They're worse than Mark IVs, which you'll see later. Although, in that case, I should have ranked it higher, shouldn't I? And if I ranked this any higher, people are probably going to start hating on me. I mean, at least a bow works on them, unlike, say, Mark IV sword. Moving on to what I believe to be 17th place. 17th, I think, yeah. Mark III hammer bots. Their hammer is, I think, a little bigger than the max size hammer you can get, but like all the other hammer bots have glaring weakness to bows. Big tanky frame, and they're slow. Come here, get an arrow to your face or chest. A single hit can easily cause lethal damage, though, so you might want to avoid that. But 1 arrow to your chest.
Nice
Bye-bye.
work, Newman. Make sure to thank the plague bot.
16th spot. We have warfare analysis spots. These guys replace the arrows from the Mindspace with a grenade storm, which, well, there's so many grenades that chances are one of them is going to cause lethal damage with shrapnel. So you want to stay away from it. A favorite tactic of theirs is to do a drill attack. Once you're knocked down, spam grenades to hopefully take you out. Like that. However, if you can bow them when they're drill attacking towards you, that works pretty well. And like the other analysis spots, they can only have 2 pieces of armor as opposed to 4 for regular. Or 8 or 9, whatever it is for the Mindspace. However, their grenades should not be underestimated. And in fact, get projectile block. It actually can deflect shrapnel, so it's quite useful in this case. You can burn to death. And die more, die more, die more. Next. That's 16th, so now we're going to the top 15. These bots are starting to get pretty tough, and as I mentioned before, the Mark IV sword is quite high up, and it's these guys. They have fire resistance, projectile deflect, and are quite smart, so in swarms they can be particularly lethal. Pick them off one at a time, otherwise you're going to get yourself chopped up hard. Getting fire resistance against these guys is a good idea. Bow isn't, because again, deflect. Watch. See? And it will set any regular arrows on fire if it deflects them. A hammer makes sense due to more range in them, but they are quite smart and they may dodge it. However, not that smart.
Perhaps this human was a professional video gamer.
Now for 14th spot, we have the Mark IV Spear. Like the Mark IV Sword, it has fire weapons, has fire resistance, however it does not have a projectile block, see? But the shield also has fire resistance, so fire bows aren't going to do too much against them. However, they're very big and hence very easy targets for a hammer. Also, they can shield bash their own guys and set them on fire. So you can rely on them causing some disruption amongst themselves. There's a lot of them. They do have a shield bash like the Mark III, so you do have to be careful of that. And they're in general quite strong, but just not as strong as the guys further up the list. So I'm just going to proceed to remove the remainder of them from living.
This human is doing well. Very much like a robot. But not enough like a robot. No, not enough.
13th spot, the jetpack Mark II. They basically have maxed out jetpacks and our hands were really quick. They have 3 energy bars, I think, and can be quite unpredictable, so that is an issue. However, bows do work, with the slight issue that, well, they'll catch up to you in no time flat, so it's not very reliable. Flame Breath might need to be used against these guys, especially as I've lost my own hands. I put too many of these guys. I put way too many. Oh god, I do have kick, so that could work. Okay, I have an idea. If you come, the thing about their AI is they're not the smartest, so if you try doing a little bit of parkour, they're gonna have trouble getting to you. There we go. I'm gonna come down here. Burn. Burn. And going back up again. Yeah, these guys are especially crappy when it comes to just jumping around and doing parkour. Like most jetpack guys are particularly crappy. Okay. Yeah, I should have been a little more careful dealing with these guys, because at this point, And 14th. Really shouldn't be messing around anymore. Sorry, 13th. I really shouldn't be messing around with these guys. Dang it. Because from this point on, these guys are really lethal. Only 2 left. I can dodge these lot. One more, missing a leg. Still very dangerous. Still kind of scary. And gone. Move the hand. I'm going to need a repair after that lot.
Nice work, Newman.
Why did I put some money? Oh, thank you very much, upgrade bot, for repairing, or quote, repairing my body. Anyways, 12th bot. We have, drum roll, jetpack spear Mark II. I call these guys spear Mark V because they have shield bash and fire spear like the Mark IV, but are smaller and hence harder to hit. Very smart, smarter than the Mark IV spear, and very much love to target your backside. A bow might work, but the problem is they're so quick, and I think they have fire resistance, so I wouldn't rely on it. And I've lost my arms again. I'm going to flame breath these guys. From this point on, flame breath is a very, very viable option because they're just so strong. These guys are actually much better at predicting my movements when I'm doing parkour. Ooh, did he hit me or hit someone else? He hit someone else. Yeah, the flame resistance makes flame breath a little bit less viable than for other jetpack guys, but still. Ooh, that was good. Yeah. Oh yeah, like other guys with shield bash, remove the shield, replace it with kick. They don't have get up, so you can kick them down.
Perhaps this human had gone in before they were unloaded. Water-based drink. Water-based break.
11th place. I'm gonna start losing my arms and legs quite repeatedly at this point. Not even top 10 yet. At 11th place, we have the Mark V Archer. Yeah, the Mark V Archer. This is what they do. They just leap all over the place. They have the same jump as the Kickball Mark II, and very large, very deadly fire arrows. Combination that's quite dangerous if you're not paying attention and moving around constantly. As long as you keep moving around, you're okay. Just don't stay still or you're going to get shot in the backside. Very, very quick. Or in the skull, or literally just anywhere on the body. The arrows have fire too, so even a bare glance from one can cause critical or lethal damage. Just come here, you little scumbags. You're dead. Oh. Yeah, it's also a little bit difficult to keep track of. Don't try to hammer these guards, you'll simply get shot. Alright, top 10. From this point on, these are the big boys. Fleet Analysis Bot Mark IV is first in 10 spots. I would recommend a hammer against these guys, but because if you try a sword with them, they'll just deflect your sword every single time, or close to every single time. They also have a They also have a drill attack, I think. No way, they don't have a drill attack. Never mind, these ones don't. And they, of course, have like giant sword. But yeah, hammer is pretty good against them. If you must use a sword, let them swing, then attack in between theirs. And don't try to do this. That takes too long. Swing, attack. Swing, attack. Swing, attack. Yeah, it's pretty tricky. I'm just gonna try and clobber him. Ooh, naughty. Oh yeah, the sword also deflects projectiles. See? Let me just remove this guy. Bonk. 9 spots. Mark IV archers. Might be wondering why I placed these guys higher than the Mark V variants. These guys have a sword as well. And they come in stationary forms. So, if you're dealing with both forms, it can be a little tricky, but I suggest going for stationary first, because they'll be a little easier to deal with, and you may as well get them out of the way. Okay, now I got these guys to deal with. Oh wait. Yeah, let me screw this one. I do suggest Flame Breath, even though they have fire resistance, because it's not completely ineffective. Do not try to use a hammer on these guys, you'll just be shot to pieces. Yeah, fire sword, bow, spear, whatever, isn't as effective as you would believe. However, it does help. Especially when you just poke them out through.
I was pretty sure it was going to die.
8th spot. Spidertron, 7,000. Released in Chapter 5, these guys have A, miniguns, B, fire. So yeah, miniguns, which do crazy levels of damage. And B, they spew out bazillion levels of grenades. Which have higher than usual knockback. I don't know why the difference, but hey, if you can hit the core, it's an instant KO. But these guys have a reliable long-range attack, which the others don't. So you do have to be careful. And they can have armor.
Force field activate.
Oh,
I just like saying it.
looks like I missed that one then. I'm going to try and remove the legs. Got it. Hit the center, the whole thing collapses. That's 7th place. I have in top 5, and these are proper nasty. Time for... So that was 8th, sorry. This is 7th, and it's Laser Raptors. Laser is pretty much an immediate KO if it manages to connect. Fire resistance helps a little, but what helps more is hiding behind a pillar so you don't die. Deal with more than one of these guys at once is very difficult. So you want to try... Oh yeah, they also have that. A favorite strategy of theirs, knock you down, then laser you. Using a bow isn't a bad idea. Especially because they stay still. Once they stay still once they start firing their laser. Fire. Oh god, right. So he's standing still when he fires the laser. It's only a few seconds, but it's more than long enough to do something. Like that.
Victory. I love that smell of energy swords in the morning. Come in, Patron. You did not tell me you had those installed.
Next up, 6th place. Mark 5 swordsmen. Hammer, beware, they have a dash, and they're definitely smarter than anything else beforehand. Yikes, they're a little scary. Ooh, ow. Flame breathing a group of them is an okay idea, even though they have fire resistance. However, these guys are resilient. Oof, and almost removed my leg. Pick them off one at a time with a hammer, and it's probably your best bet. Do not try to go into a group of them. You will be cut, sliced, and diced before you can say, what the heck. And removal of you. Ow. You can also flame breath individuals, even though it is very energy intensive, and there's one more I'm missing. Oh no, wait, must have gotten hit by flame breath. That works. Sheesh, well, now we're in the top 5, and keep this in mind, these guys are all very tanky and very strong. You're going to have to wear them down bit by bit. First up, Mark 5 hammers. Unlike the Mark 3s, 2s, and 1s, which be shot to pieces, well, these guys can be shot pretty easily. They have fire resistance, which makes it slightly more difficult to use fire arrows against them. However, they're not completely immune, so it still works regardless. Also, just cutting the legs off works too. They do have dash and fire hammer, which does that. First enemy to actually kill me. Okay, yeah, you can see these guys are getting much stronger. Just straight up one-shot me. Got any armor for this lot. Okay, come here, noobs. They're gone. Die, 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 die. Now, 4th place, Fleet Overseers. Have a large array of attacks, including a sword which has projectile deflect, a laser, and many other attacks. If you have multiple, try getting one to laser the other. Oh yeah, they also have grenades. But here's a trick. A single hammer to the underside is lethal. If I can just hit it. Missed slightly. Almost. Got it. I'm gonna hit 1 kill. See? Hit the underside, right here. 1 hit, 1 kill. Let me just remove these guys properly. I wonder what actually causes that to kill them. Because it's pretty much guaranteed. 3rd place. Fleet Captain. Exchanges the sword for both a hammer for melee and a bow for range. And also has Flame Breath, which no one didn't end. They just both. I think 2 just got obliterated. Alright. They also have fire resistance. But, same thing, hammer to the underside, instant KO. Now we got the top 2, and yeah. First one to have the Emperor Mark 1. Seriously, why Mark 1? These guys have a large variety of lethal attacks, and you really just gotta be careful. Woo-hoo-hoo! Oh yeah, they can also withstand losing both arms and both legs, which is something most other ones can't. They are not immune to bows, so haha, screw you. They do have fire resistance, it appears. Yeah. So, oh god. I wonder if we could get the Empress Hammer through a mod or something. That would be like really cool. Seems an arrow to the head's the most lethal option. Or the neck. I just killed the Emperor 3 times.
Perhaps this human was a professional video gamer.
People brag about killing the Emperor. Yeah, I just did thrice in one go. Oh wait, you forgot. The Emperor Mark II. The improved version with improved, deadlier attacks and even more attacks, including knockback, and they summon the little armor bots I mentioned earlier to repair them. And one thing I didn't mention about these guys, look. They will shoot arrows out of the sky. So remove these little buggers first, and if you have a bow, shoot them after that. Holy moly. Oh yeah, by the way, that stomp is lethal. See, he's got his crown back from the little armor boy, even though it existed for only like a couple of seconds. Oh, wait. You can know exists. Okay? Try to take out one Emperor, then the other. One out. One to go! Oh, god. It's gotten all his armor back. Must be some armor boxes summoned. I got one. Removing his arms removes his weapons, so you should target those. I wonder how well a hammer works. Oh yeah. If he lands on jump pad, this happens. Woo! Miss me, sucker. I beat you with nothing but a basic spear, suck it. You can eat a sword to the chest. Okay, I've gotta remove that other leg. Okay, it's gone. Oh god. Ooh, that was close. Dang! There goes his hammer. Still got a sword. Die. And with that, that's all 45 clone drone bots ranked from weakest to strongest. And man, that took so many tries.